Thank you. Thank you all for coming out this evening. Isn't this a spectacular venue? This is the brand new Loft 433, and during the day, the views are absolutely awe-inspiring. I'd like to thank Kevin Betty, First Columbia, as well as Mazzone Hospitality for making this space available to us this evening. Kevin is bullish on Troy, and by way of his vision and his investments, he is driving the growth and renaissance of this neighborhood. We thank Kevin for his hospitality this evening and his confidence in the city of Troy. Let me begin by acknowledging some elected officials in the audience tonight. From our City Council, we have Council President Carmela Mantello, Council President Pro Tem and representing District 5, Ken Zalewski. I don't see Jim Gawley. Is Jim here? Jim Gawley, representing District 1, will make a big deal when he comes in. We'll embarrass him. Representing District 2 is Kim McPherson. Representing District 3 is Sue Steele. Representing District 4, Anasha Cummings. And representing District 6, Eileen McDermott. We are also joined by Assemblymember John McDonald. And from the county legislature, we have Minority Leader Peter Grimm. We have Member Carol Weaver. Is Carol here? Member Mark Fleming. And Member Bobby Burns. Did I miss anybody from the county ledge? Aaron. I did not see Aaron. Aaron Sullivan Tata is here as well from the county ledge. From Senator Gillibrand's office, we are joined by Capital Region Director Sarah Roberts. From Congressman Tonka's office, we are joined by District Director Colleen Williams. We are also joined by Family Court Judge Beth Walsh. And North Greenbush Town Council member Mary Frances Sabo. Did I miss any elected officials? Oh, the district attorney's here, Mary Pat Donnelly. And Carol, did I introduce you? I did, okay, good. Just making sure, covering the bases. So to the elected officials, thank you all for joining us this evening, but more importantly, thank you for your service. We know that public service is rarely ever glamorous, but it is necessary. And I thank you all for stepping forward, and I am grateful to work with you each and every day in service of the city of Troy. We are also joined tonight by the president of Hudson Valley Community College, Dr. Roger Ramsamy. Dr. Ramsamy is the relatively new president of Hudson Valley. Hudson Valley is a jewel in the crown of Troy, and we applaud your vision and leadership leading that fine institution. Thank you for being here tonight. And finally, a big thank you to everyone in attendance. So many of you are engaged in so many ways in our city. Neighborhood groups, committees, task forces, organizations of all manner and size. And it is precisely that engagement that makes Troy the envy of its neighbors. Your participation is making a difference, and I hope you will all continue that for years to come. It is my honor to stand before you tonight and offer the 2020 State of the City Address. I am pleased to report that the state of the city continues to improve on a number of important measures, and there is plenty of credit to share. When I first assumed office 4 years ago, we faced some significant challenges. Unbalanced budgets, aging infrastructure, depleted financial reserves, decades of disinvestment, and years of political strife, which took our collective eye off the ball and paralyzed progress. Confronted with these challenges, we set to work in righting our fiscal ship and restoring confidence in the city's future. In the last 4 years, we have made remarkable progress toward making Troy a more vibrant, more resilient, and more welcoming community built on a stronger financial foundation. The result has been greater confidence and optimism in the city by small business owners, investors, and homeowners. This is evidenced by the growth in investment that we are witnessing. But this was not done alone. As will be evident this evening, the progress we have made is the result of a great many people contributing to the process. Let me begin where I always do, finances. I have spoken frequently of the state of the city's finances 4 years ago, the depleted reserves, the deferred bills, the dependence on one-shots, the debt, the critical reviews from the Office of State Comptroller, the falling bond rating, and the structural imbalance of our budgets year after year. We were truly on the threshold of insolvency. I don't mention this to vilify those who came before me in elected office, nor do I believe that any of the past practices of which I have been critical were the result of nefarious intent. In fact, the uncomfortable truth is that we all collectively bear responsibility for the past. For too long, we have demanded our elected officials deliver a level of services that we have been unwilling to pay for. We have punished or threatened to punish those who were unable to meet our demands and rewarded those who employed fiscal sleight of hand to give us what we demanded. The problem was, it was unsustainable. My administration has acted differently, both by design and necessity. We built bridges over political divisions to make real change. We made hard decisions about taxes, fees, and staffing. We instituted honest and effective changes to ensure long-term viability of important city services. And we said no more often than many of us would have liked. This has not been easy. Fiscal discipline rarely is. We have made difficult and at times unpopular decisions. The results, though, have been noteworthy and have produced real and measurable results. Working with the City Council, we secured 4 consecutive structurally balanced budgets, an accomplishment that my administration and the Council should be proud of. Fiscal years 2016, 17, and 18 produced modest surpluses, adding strength to our fiscal position. We expect the same in 2019 when those numbers are finalized. Moody's Investor Services improved our credit outlook twice. The Office of State Comptroller reduced our fiscal stress rating 3 consecutive years. Our reserves, while still slim, are the strongest they have been since 2009. In 2019, and again just 2 weeks ago, Moody's rated our bond anticipation notes at a MIG-1 level, the highest grade for municipal bonds. These achievements are the result of our commitment to fiscal discipline and truthful, realistic budgeting. As I have in the past, I will continue to caution that we are not out of the woods, that we are headed in the right direction. Do not believe those who promise quick fixes. Fiscal discipline is a practice, not an event. My administration will continue to act in the long-term best interest of today's taxpayers as well as the generations that follow us. On the bright side, having taken those steps, Each year, we are in an increasingly better position to reinvest in the long neglected assets of the city. Our strengthened financial position allowed us to complete and/or commence a number of important projects in 2019. In 2020, that investment will accelerate. And much of that investment has been in infrastructure. Infrastructure is the lifeblood of any community, often taken for granted and just as often not even visible. A reliable network of infrastructure is essential to the long-term health, growth, and vitality of our city. We are the beneficiaries of the foresight and investment of those who came before us. These investments benefit us on a daily basis, and it has been a priority of my administration to be a responsible steward of that gift, ensuring that our children may ensure the same benefits. In 2019, we achieved substantial completion of the renovation of the Seawall, right out behind this building. This $24 million project addressed deficiencies in our century-old seawall, ensuring at least another 80 years of useful, productive life to this important structure. Years of natural erosion exacerbated by Hurricane Irene left the wall vulnerable. And what few realize is that the seawall is the only thing that separates the county's sewer interceptor line from the Hudson River. Failure of this barrier would be catastrophic on a number of levels. First conceived of under my predecessor, Mayor Rosamilia, significant funding for this project was secured through FEMA with a strong support from Senator Schumer. In 2019, we achieved substantial completion of the renovation of the South Troy Pool. We acknowledge we did not hit our stretch goal for this project's completion, but unforeseen circumstances changed the project from a repair to a wholesale renovation. The result is that this pool's useful life is extended at least another 20 years. And I'd like to extend my thanks to Assemblymember McDonald, who was able to provide a grant to help offset the cost of this project. Under the leadership of Fire Chief Eric McMahon, we commenced a number of repair and renovation projects on our firehouses. They included new roofs, new lighting, new insulation, new windows, new HVAC units, kitchen upgrades, plumbing repairs, and foundation repairs. That work is progressing as we speak. In 2019, we also repainted and upgraded 2 of our 3 water tanks. In the process, we added aeration mechanism to improve the quality of our water. The 3rd tower is under consideration for complete replacement in the near term. And while we're on the topic of water, let me share with you a few facts. Did you know that there are more than 280 miles of water and sewer pipes under our streets? End to end, that would stretch from Troy to Buffalo. Did you know that we draw and process more than 21 million gallons of water a day from the Tom Hannock Reservoir? That water serves over 135,000 customers in Troy and 9 surrounding communities in 3 counties. And our water is being considered as a source for the town of Hoosick Falls. The importance of maintaining that system cannot be overstated. It has been a priority of this administration to ensure the proper and necessary investments are made to maintain the quality and continuity of that system for all of our customers. We are replacing or reinforcing weak sections of our water system, like the 33-inch main we replaced in Lansingburg, the sewer line under Sage Avenue, and the sewer line under Campbell Avenue, and 2 sewage pump stations. And it is why we are moving forward with the replacement of the feeder lines which connect the Tom Hannock Reservoir to the water treatment plant. These lines, for which there is no backup, are over 110 years old. They were placed in service during the presidency of William Howard Taft. This is a monumental undertaking scheduled to take place over the next 2 years. When complete, it will ensure a reliable flow of water for at least another 250 years. Troy came of age in a time when cities used their nearest river as their sewer. We were no different. In the 1970s, under orders from the EPA, the county and the city installed a sewer interceptor line along the Hudson River, which transported sewage to the sewer treatment plant just south of the city. Problem was that our system captured surface water as well as sewage. So in times of heavy rain, that system can become overwhelmed and result in discharges directly into the river. In 2006, the communities of Albany, Rensselaer, Waterville, Troy, Cohoes, and Green Island came together in a unique partnership to collaboratively reduce the overflows in this section of the river. Since 2011, the City of Troy and our municipal partners have implemented more than 65 projects, investing more than $130 million to lessen the frequency of sewer overflows and improve the health of the Hudson River. Right now, we are in the midst of installing a stormwater diversion line beneath the Uncle Sam Bike Trail in Lansingburg. That line, approximately 1/2 mile in length, will divert stormwater away from the city's combined sewer system, reducing sewage overflows to the Hudson River and mitigating a serious surface water problem for residents of the neighborhood. Just last month, the city was awarded $1.825 million from New York State for various sewer projects over the next 3 years to further reduce the volume of sewage reaching the Hudson River during these storm events. Sewer metering pits were installed to monitor sanitary sewage volume from outside communities. These improvements will help gain a better model capacity of Troy's sewer system by measuring sewage flow from Rensselaer County communities. The data will inform how improvements can be made and how collectively we can, as a county and a city, make more responsible development and infrastructure-related investments. These investments are costly, but with the assistance of grants and low-interest financing available through the state and federal agencies, the city is committed to preserve and maintain the integrity of our water and sewer systems, as well as the health of the Hudson River. These investments and others that we make across our city reflect back on us in the form of investments made by large and small businesses. Fiscal discipline, coupled with investments in infrastructure, neighborhood amenities, enhances not only the day-to-day life of current residents, but also adds to the confidence needed to attract investment, grow new jobs, attract a more robust workforce, build a tax base, and drive private capital into new projects. This is precisely what we are experiencing. Since 2015, our rental housing stock has grown 2%, with over 450 new units added to the market and over 1,000 more anticipated in the next 5 years. Notable projects slated to open in 2020 or underway now include 444 River Lofts, that's right across from the parking lot out here to our south, King's Landing, about a block south of that, the Old Brick down in south central Troy near Carmen's Restaurant. Vicina is the development across from Mannery's on 4th. 701 River, you may recall that that's up by the ale house. I'm sorry, all my references have to do with bars or restaurants. You know what I do on weekends. You may recall 701 suffered a serious fire last August, and I am delighted to say that they regrouped, gutted the building, and they're starting again, and they're looking for occupancy later this year. And then as well in the downtown, the McCarthy Building, 257 River Street, 19 apartments there. All told, planned and underway projects represent over $175 million in private investment. This investment is based on confidence in Troy's present and Troy's future. These investments create jobs and tax base while eliminating blight and decay. In the past 4 years, we have issued 3,152 building permits, representing over $360 million in private investment. While our bustling downtown continues to be the envy of upstate New York, it really is Troy's diverse neighborhoods that truly define our community. The city boasts a wide variety of neighborhoods, from dense urban streetscapes to single-family homes with generous yards. Troy offers a housing environment for every taste. Making each of these neighborhoods realize its highest potential is a significant focus of City Hall each and every day. Increasing the rate of home ownership remains an important priority for our neighborhoods. Working with partners such as TRIP and Habitat for Humanity, we allocate a significant portion of our federal home dollars each year to assist in creating opportunities for our residents to own their own home. And home ownership has proven to be a good investment in Troy. Continuing a 4-year trend, in 2019, the median price of a single-family home in Troy rose 6.3% over 2018. More telling, though, is that time on market fell again in 2019 by 10% over 2018. That means homes are selling more quickly and at higher prices. This reflects an optimism about Troy as a place to own a home and raise a family. On the heels of the adoption of our new comprehensive plan last year, we have begun an update and revision to our zoning ordinance. Last undertaken in the 1980s, the current ordinance is woefully outdated and in many respects does not honor the type of development the community prioritized in the plan. That work is underway now and should be completed within 6 months. It should not come as news to anyone that throughout the Northeast, cities like Troy struggle against the ravages of freeze-thaw cycles on our paved surfaces. Historically, and due to budgetary constraints, we have relied on annual funding from the state solely as the means to fund our paving program. That is no longer sufficient. For the 5-year period 2020 through 2024, we have allocated an additional $1.7 million to augment state funds. This will enable us to pave an additional 15 to 20% more each year. In the Lansingburg neighborhood, we are in the midst of completing environmental remediation of the old Leonard Hospital, a precursor to demolition. Once removed, we'll have a 6.5-acre site suitable for redevelopment. We will actively engage with the community to determine the best active use and pursue a development path to achieve these goals and attract additional investment in Lansingburg. Lansingburg neighborhood contains many of our community's important historical buildings. As our 3rd century of history begins in the Collar City, I am proposing the creation of a historic district in Lansingburg to ensure the preservation of these important properties for another century. Located between 111th and 117th Street, this will enable home and property owners to pursue available tax credits of up to 20% of the cost for restoration or rehabilitation of properties in the proposed district. Additionally, the city will work with the Golub Corporation and their affiliates on the future opportunities at the Lansingburg Price Chopper site. Seeking a new vision for the site will improve the Lansingburg Commercial District along 2nd Avenue and increase public access to our waterfront. This project will build into the city's placemaking work to create more waterfront amenities, including the 123rd Street Boat Launch and Riverfront Trail. Reimagining Lansingburg Commercial District will accommodate these new improvements in alignment with new zoning changes, including a waterfront overlay which will require public access for new developments along the Hudson River. Future developments and improvement will help rekindle the vibrancy of Lansingburg, and we will continue to hold additional community meetings to work with the Lansingburg neighborhood residents and their families to identify properties in North Troy. In South Troy, we are continuing our targeted investment in sidewalks and other neighborhood upgrades through the Community Development Block Grant Program, otherwise known as CDBG. This spring, we're on track to complete the installation of Americans with Disabilities Act compliant sidewalks, curb ramps, and new lighting and trees along 2nd Street. Similar work is scheduled to begin on 4th Street later in the year. We have added several miles of dedicated and shared bike lanes through South Troy on the Uncle Sam Bike Trail, creating a 7-mile-long trail that connects South Troy to Lansingburg, part of our growing waterfront trail. Working in partnership with the Osgood Neighborhood Association and others, we are transforming a vacant lot into a small pocket park on Jackson Street. The idea conceived of by the neighbors and designed by them will provide a congenial meeting place in the neighborhood. Work is progressing on that and should be completed this summer. I am delighted to report that we have reached an agreement with the county regarding the construction of the South Troy Industrial Roadway. The terms have been agreed to, the checks have been cut, and I anticipate a closing in a matter of days. Decades in the making, this roadway, when I say decade, I often say this project started when I had hair. Decades in the making, this roadway will remove heavy traffic from our South Troy neighborhoods, while at the same time open up long fallow land for productive use, thereby growing our tax base. With this matter resolved, we should be going out to bid in a couple of weeks. This is a win-win-win for the city of Troy, the county of Rensselaer, and the residents of South Troy. On the east side, we have begun design work for the repairs to the Campbell Avenue Bridge. Funded through a $3.58 million Bridge New York grant, this project will replace an aging structure, ensuring a safe traffic route between the east side neighborhood and South Troy, Hudson Valley Community College, North Greenbush, and Albany. Construction will likely begin in 2021. And we thank Governor Cuomo and our state representatives for funding this important and expensive project. Spurred on by a recent accident, we are taking an opportunity to make significant traffic and pedestrian improvements to the Spring and Campbell Avenues intersections. Adjustments to the road configuration and the installation of smart technology will make this busy intersection safer and more efficient for both pedestrians and vehicular traffic. In the North Central neighborhood, we will be undertaking an exciting renovation of the 7th Avenue Park. This popular pocket park is one of the few green spaces in this particular neighborhood. The new park will include a new basketball court, new spray pad, bathroom facilities, playground equipment, a pavilion, new fencing. About a third of the cost of this project will be covered by city funds, with the balance raised from private foundation and state-sponsored grants sponsored by Senator Breslin and Assemblymember McDonald. We are aiming to get construction on that started this spring, and I would like at this time to call out special recognition to the Deputy Mayor, Monica Kuziaski, who drove that project to the finish line. Last year, we completed the Engels Ave boat launch, another project started when I had hair. This project was conceived of by one of my predecessor, Mayor Mark Pattison, over 20 years ago. Since its opening, this has proved to be a great attraction for those looking to access the river with their boats, fish from the docks, or simply sit and enjoy the river views. This too was made possible with significant funding from New York State through the Environmental Protection Fund and the Department of State's local waterfront revitalization program. In the downtown neighborhood, along with Troy Housing Authority, we are paving a path forward to complete the redevelopment of the Taylor Apartments. This This is an exciting project that promises mixed-income housing without displacement of existing tenants and new public space along the waterfront. Towers 1 and 2, long vacant, will be raised, removing a blighting influence and creating opportunity for productive development better suited to Troy's scale and market. In conjunction with that effort, we are studying the possibility of reestablishing River Street to its original layout. This visionary project would remove physical barriers for pedestrians and create a walkable, more connected waterfront and reconnect the downtown directly to the Riverside, Osgood, and South Troy neighborhoods. Funds to undertake this study are in hand, and we should be having public meetings before summer. In 2019, the city was awarded $4 million in grant funding from the Federal Highway Administration to improve pedestrian safety and accessibility on Congress and Ferry Streets. The Route 2 project will redesign Congress and Ferry Streets from 11th Street west to Congress Street, to the Congress Street Bridge, into a safer, more attractive route for the public. Enhancements and upgrades include new curb extensions, ADA accessible curb ramps, replacement of sidewalks, smart traffic lights for improved traffic control, additional street parking, bike lanes to connect with the existing trail network, and lane reductions to slow traffic and increase safety for pedestrians. Over 13,000 cars a day travel this route. As our downtown develops its residential character, it becomes more important to make traveling along or across these streets safer and easier for all. Design work on that is scheduled to commence next year. I am excited to confirm that the American Theater, more recently known as the Cinema Arts, is moving toward redevelopment. Proctor's Collaborative, which includes Proctor's in Schenectady, Capitol Rep in Albany, and Universal Preservation Hall in Saratoga, is proposing a reuse of the American Theater on River Street as a movie and music venue. We will be sharing more about this exciting historical preservation in the coming months. An ongoing problem in our neighborhoods is the presence of vacant and so-called zombie properties. They started making their appearance after the mortgage crash some 10 years ago. These eyesores remain a vexing problem for communities across the country and of particular concern to neighbors who live nearby. With the assistance of a $250,000 grant from the New York State Attorney General's office, we've taken an aggressive approach to zombie property enforcement. This funding enabled us to hire an additional code enforcement officer and legal counsel dedicated solely to zombie enforcement. The program has resulted in compliance and civil penalties on a number of properties. Most recently, the city received a court award which imposed a $78,000 civil penalty against an out-of-state mortgage company for failing to maintain a property in Troy's north central neighborhood. We are certain that this will set a precedent off of which we can prosecute more cases moving forward. Financial institutions and mortgage lenders should take note. This city, this administration is serious about improving the quality of life in our neighborhoods, and we will hold you accountable. I'd like to recognize our entire code enforcement department, especially Eric Ferraro. He is the city's zombie enforcement officer. How about that title? I'd like to shift and say a few words about sustainability now. Did you know that 2019 capped the world's hottest decade in recorded history? Did you know that the past 5 years have been the hottest on record? Did you know that recent studies predict that by 2050, 30 years from now, 1/3 of the entire country of Vietnam will be below the high tide mark? This is but one example. The ripple effect of climate change will have a destabilizing effect of a global scale, creating political and economic unrest. Many of us will live to see that unfold, and certainly our children and their children will be in the thick of it. If we care about the quality of their lives, we have a moral obligation, individually and collectively, to take action. In the absence of any leadership or even acknowledgement out of Washington, cities around the country are taking steps to act more responsibly toward our planet. In Troy, we are expanding our investment in renewable energy with an expansion of our solar array on the former Troy landfill site. In 2018, the city completed installation of a 2.1 megawatt system with 6,700 solar panels. It currently provides 20% of the city's annual electric needs and is expected to save taxpayers an estimated $2 million in municipal energy costs over the next decade. An additional 2.6 megawatt expansion is currently under construction at the former Troy landfill site. When complete, the combined output of our entire solar network will provide over 40% of our city's electrical needs. With the assistance of the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, the city purchased 5 electric vehicles in 2019. Capable of traveling up to 150 miles on a single charge, these vehicles will replace older, less fuel-efficient vehicles in need of frequent repairs. This will result in a significant cost savings on fuel and maintenance and reduce the city's carbon footprint. This year, 2020, we will complete the purchase of 4,168 streetlights from National Grid, part of a citywide initiative to install energy-efficient lighting in neighborhoods across Troy. LED lighting will increase visibility, creating safer, better lit streets while reducing the city's overall electric utility consumption. Other energy-related upgrades are being undertaken across city-owned properties, including LED lighting, roofing, insulation, windows, HVAC replacements in the Fifth Ave, State Street parking facilities, fire stations, the city courthouse, the police station, various public works facilities, and the Knickerbocker Ice Arena. The resulting reduced consumption, coupled with the solar arrays, should bring us to the point where at least 50% of our electric consumption is provided by renewables. In an initiative led by our Sustainability Task Force, Troy has joined several other Capital Region cities, towns, villages, including Albany and Schenectady, to explore the benefits of community choice aggregation. By grouping together with other municipalities, we can obtain competitive electric rates, stable pricing to avoid price spikes, and access to renewable and green electricity for our residents. Several public information sessions will be held in the coming weeks. More information is posted under events on the city's official Facebook page. I'd like to acknowledge the work that Councilmember Anasha Cummings put into this project. He was instrumental in bringing this opportunity to fruition, along with the very able assistance of our Sustainability Task Force. Thank you very much. There is a saying to the effect that if you fail to plan, you should plan to fail. This is a particularly apt maxim when it comes to solid waste. We know that landfills are closing around the country. We know that the pace of landfill loss is the greatest in the Northeast. We know that China has closed its markets for most recyclables, disrupting the entire recycling industry on a global scale. Yet as a society, we continue to carry on seemingly oblivious to these facts. Over the past 3 years, we have taken steps to change our relationship with solid waste. and prepare for a time when landfill costs will spike. Key to this effort is reducing what we throw away and then creating avenues to divert unwanted items from the waste stream. To support the success of this work, we are proactively implementing the objectives of our 10-year solid waste and recycling plan, beginning with extensive outreach and education. We created an online newsletter, Recycling Matters, providing timely tips on how residents can reduce, reuse, and recycle. We launched a textile recycling program to remove clothing and related textile from the waste stream. In 2020, we will be partnering with local schools and universities to expand the reach and capacity of that program. We are working with New York State DEC to reopen the Alamo, giving residents the option of bringing yard materials to that collection site where they will be deployed and processed. In 2020, we will be locating 9 dual-stream recycling waste receptacles in the downtown, providing people the opportunity to recycle on the fly. Simultaneously, we will be relocating several cans from downtown to North Central to provide more access to proper disposal. These steps will inform future efforts to expand into other neighborhoods. The city's annual Hazardous Waste Disposal Day was expanded to 2 days in 2019, serving double the number of residents. This important service provides residents a means to safely dispose of household hazardous materials not accepted through normal weekly garbage collection service. It's important that we keep these harmful and potentially toxic contaminants away from local landfills. Unfortunately, instances of illegal dumping and improper handling of bulk trash remain all too common. It's an issue that affects the general appearance of our community and also contributes to a general decline in the neighborhood quality of life. In response, we have assigned 2 full-time litter patrol officers working exclusively on efforts to combat illegal dumping and oversee bulk collection. Utilizing our own portable camera systems, as well as video and tips provided by neighbors, we are able to track down increasing numbers of illegal dumpers and hold them responsible. Word is getting out. We are beginning to see better outcomes in North Central and South Troy. I'd like to thank our Solid Waste Advisory Board, made up of residents from across the city, as well as Renee Panetta, our recycling coordinator, Chuck Wayton, our Commissioner of General Services, and our DPW staff for the work they have put into these various initiatives. Attractive neighborhoods are also safe neighborhoods. And I'm proud to say that our police and fire department stand as equals among the best in New York State. Their training, their dedication, and their professionalism is widely recognized and well regarded. Effective public safety is rooted in a mutual relationship of respect between the community and those who enforce our laws. Our police department is committed to building that trust. Chief Owens and I meet regularly with constituencies across the city to share information, accept feedback, open lines of communication, and build the mutual trust necessary to foster effective public safety. While no amount of crime is an acceptable amount of crime, it is worth noting that over the past 4 years, according to the Capital Region Crime Analysis Center, violent crime in Troy declined 26.7%. and property crime decreased 32.8% over the same period. While many communities have experienced a decrease in crime over the same time period, this represents the largest drop in the capital region. In fact, across the 3 major cities in the capital region, Troy's crime rate on a per capita basis went from the highest to the lowest over that period of time. Despite these positive changes, additional work remains. The number of shots fired in 2019 remained level with that of 2018. This reflects the ease with which illegal guns can be obtained, a challenge not unique to Troy. In response, our police department held a gun buyback event in 2019, during which 77 firearms were turned in. The outcome surprised us all and speaks to the need to do it again, which we will. These improving crime statistics are not accidental. They are the result of considered decisions, new training, and close relationships with state and federal agencies, including the FBI, state police, DEA, and the Rensselaer County Sheriff's Department. The willingness and ability to adapt to changing conditions is vital to remaining effective in today's public safety environment. Chief Owens couldn't be with us tonight, but Deputy Chief Dan DeWolf is just as great, and he's here, and I'd like to acknowledge his presence. The fire department has been under the leadership of Chief Eric McMahon for just about a year now, and he has proven himself to be the right person for the job. In that time, the chief has spearheaded capital improvements in each of our firehouses, some of which I noted earlier. He is leading the discussion on the replacement of the Lansingburg firehouse and has championed changes that better protect the health and the safety of our dedicated firefighters. These capital improvements have continued our unprecedented level of investment in the department. Since coming into office, we have purchased 3 engines, 2 ambulances, a fireboat. We've replaced all outdated turnout gear, and we are in the process of purchasing a second set of turnout gear, as well as additional washers and dryer to remove dangerous chemical from our firefighters' gear. Much is changing in the field of firefighting, not just in Troy, but across the nation. In the over 20 years that we have been operating under the current model in Troy, we've experienced changes in call volumes, shifting patterns of calls, new technologies, population and demographic shifts, understandings and expectations about how communities deliver emergency medical services, as well as changes within the healthcare system that impact us at the municipal level. All and each of these shifts are putting pressure on our systems, on our equipment, on our first responders, and on our budget. Over the course of the next year, the chief and I will be closely examining these issues and exploring potential paths forward for the department that best preserves the services that our citizens have come to expect in a manner that respects our first responders and our taxpayers. I'd like to thank the chief for his leadership and our firefighters for the skill and determination with which they approach their jobs. Sustainable development requires support from the public. It has been a hallmark of this administration to open up the process, to build trust, and create that buy-in. Public engagement has been a priority since the beginning of my administration. During the last 4 years, we have organized dozens of community meetings to give residents an opportunity to be heard on important issues. These gatherings give the public a chance to speak directly with the city staff and department representatives. We lifted the veil on municipal finance during several city budget workshop events. We held a series of meetings across the city to finalize the city's comprehensive plan. We held a 4-day planning charrette to develop a public vision for Monument Square. We established a solid waste advisory board consisting of representatives from neighborhoods across the city to assist us to develop new programs and proposals to improve solid waste management operations and expand recycling opportunities. When an engineering assessment found serious structural issues with the Mount Ida Dam, we committed to a transparent and open process to address community concerns during a series of public meetings in Little Italy and the East Side neighborhoods. And just last month, residents participated in 2 well-attended meetings in Lansingburg and downtown Troy to provide feedback on several waterfront access and gateway improvement proposals. Time and again, citizen input influenced how the city moved forward. Many of you in this room have been to these and near countless other meetings, offering your considered opinions and ideas. That input has improved our work, and I thank you for your efforts. 2020 is a year of the census. On April 1, the U.S. Census Bureau will begin a once-in-a-decade count of every person living in the United States. This count will determine the allocation of billions of dollars in federal funding for local communities. Programs which support Troy's rebirth and revitalization are dependent upon federal funding, which is directly tied to the U.S. Census results. A low count can affect how hundreds of billions of dollars will be allocated each year for the next decade. It's critical that the City of Troy and the County of Rensselaer have a full and accurate count this April, and we are taking steps to ensure that our city and region are prepared to participate. The city's Complete Count Committee, headed by CEO, has been expanded to encompass the entirety of Rensselaer County. With the assistance of a variety of nonprofit and governmental agencies, we are moving forward with a local effort to get the word out to Troy and Rensselaer County residents. Outreach efforts will be ongoing during the lead up to the count and throughout the month of April. Beginning in mid-March, the U.S. Census will send primary packets of materials with additional reminders throughout March and April. Please watch your mailbox for these important documents, but more importantly, please respond. Getting an accurate count is critically important. That's why it's essential for you to complete the form and encourage your friends, families, and neighbors to do the same. We are here this evening in this room not merely because it has great views, but because we do not have public facilities of sufficient size to host events like this. Since the ill-fated decision to demolish our last city hall in 2010, our seat of government has endured a nomadic existence. This has proven problematic in a number of ways, including when issues of broad concern need to be debated and discussed. Tonight, I am pleased to announce we are putting the final touches on our request for qualifications, an RFQ, to secure a commercial real estate services partner to assist in assessing operational needs, financial capacity, and possible locations for a new city hall. A new location should provide the city with flexible space designed to accommodate the needs of the community today, 5 years from now, and 50 years from now. A new location also provides an opportunity to create a more modern, efficient building, better suited to serving the public, and incorporating the latest technologies to reduce the cost of ownership. This process is not a commitment to constructing a new city hall tomorrow, but it is the first step to get us back to a home base. I have a couple of concluding thoughts that I'd like to leave you with tonight. In my comments this evening, I have tried to convey two main themes. The first is how far we've come over the past 4 years. Fully cognizant of where we still come up short, there is an undeniable sense of opportunity and optimism in our city. Residents are engaging. Businesses, large and small, are investing. The second recognition is just how many people deserve the credit. Hundreds, if not more. Let me start with the city staff. During my first term, I have worked closely with a good number of our employees. They are a small but mighty group. They have endured lean times. They endure the heat, the cold, the rain, and the snow. Some perform mundane tasks while others are called on continually to come up with creative solutions. Some sit behind a desk. Some are probably in the ground more than they are on top of it. Some carry a gun, and some have to run into burning buildings. They are different in so many ways, but in one important respect, they are the same. They are there to serve you when you need them. I am proud to work with them, and I am grateful for their commitment. are 2 employees, both of whom probably regret the day they said yes to me. I'd like to recognize them because they have had a hand in everything that I've spoken about this evening. Please stand and be recognized. Our Deputy Mayor, Monica Kuzieski. And our Deputy Comptroller, Andy Piotrowski, whose attention to detail and understanding of municipal finance is second to none. To Andy and Monica, it is a pleasure to learn from you, be motivated by you, and work with you every day. Thank you very much. There are also our partners in state government, Senator Breslin and Assemblymember McDonald, both of whom are strong advocates for us in Albany and have helped us in countless ways. Thank you. And our partners in the federal government, Senator Schumer and Gillibrand and Congressman Tonko. And then there are the real movers and shakers, you, the public. Credit goes to all of you who participate in our many neighborhood and civic groups, the investors and the business owners who have taken a chance on Troy, the rich fabric of nonprofits that serve our spiritual, physical, and intellectual needs, and all the homeowners who show pride in their homes and neighborhoods. Thank you all for the efforts you repeatedly make day after day to shape our community. Because of you, I am boldly optimistic about our future. Optimistic that our present challenges pale in comparison to our possibilities. Optimistic that we can create a future that measures favorably with the greatness of our past. I see and I hear that optimism on a daily basis from residents and non-residents alike. It gives me great confidence in our future. I am proud and humbled to be your mayor. It is my goal to make you proudly proclaim that Troy is your home. We are Troy, New York, and we are in this together. Thank you.